Isaac, who was Rebecca. Rebecca also was barren. Isaac prayed, interceded, and asked the Lord to open Rebecca's womb, and Rebecca became with child, right? And she became pregnant with these two twins. And as the story unfolds, they started having fights inside of Rebecca, and that has not stopped even today. So out of these two, when Rebecca went and prayed to the Lord and said, "What's going on inside of me?" the Lord told her, and we find the story in the book of Genesis, chapter 25, where the Lord told Rebecca, "Well, out of you, two nations will come out." And the memory text expounds on it a little bit better, where Esau states, Genesis 27 verse 36, which is our memory verse, and Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these two times. He took away my birthright, and now look, he has taken away my blessing." And he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Has you not reserved a blessing for me?" So, as I mentioned, these two siblings who were twins, one was controlled by his appetite and the other one by power. Do you remember who was controlled by his appetite and who was controlled by power? Esau was controlled by his appetite and Jacob by power. And we see that Esau was not really caring for his birthright because he came out first. And as he was coming out, Jacob, actually, that's how he got his name, held onto the heel of Esau, and that's what Jacob means. And Jacob literally means in Hebrew to follow, be behind. It can also mean to supplant, overreach, and also may God protect. So because Esau was not really concerned with his birthright, he was not understanding the promise, but Jacob was actually familiar with that promise. And although they were taught to regard their birthright as a matter of great importance, because it not only included an inheritance, but also spiritual preeminence. So because Jacob knew exactly what it meant, what the blessing of the birthright meant, that's why he went after it. But he was favored by his mother, and she basically helped him go for that birthright. And as the lesson unfolds, Jacob even used the name of God in vain for him to steal. When after he took the birthright from Esau, because Esau was hungry, I don't want to go dive into the story too much, right? He said, "You know, what is the purpose of me having a birthright if I'm going to die anyway? So just give me some of that soup that you made." And Jacob told him, basically, for the stew that I'm going to give to you, you're going to have to give me a birthright. And Esau agreed because of his appetite that controlled him. So what that tells us today, how do we apply it? So why is this important to us? We see that being able to control our physical appetite, right, our hunger, allows us to be in control of other things in other areas of our lives. So he gave his birthright, but remember, the birthright also came with a blessing. So that's why Jacob, assisted by his mother, went and lied to his father, invoked the name of God in vain, and stole, and also got that blessing through deception. And are there any questions, right, as I go, or I can continue because we don't have, how much time do we have, Brother Vincent? Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, so and as the lesson unfolds, we see that now Jacob got the blessing. He lied, received that blessing. He had to repent for taking the name of the Lord in vain, and also for lying, and basically, although it was purposed, right, for the promise to come to fruition through Jacob, but the way he went about it was deceptive, because God does not need our help for his plan to come to place unless he purposes us to kind of partake in it. Although Jacob he was going to be the one to fulfill the promise of the covenant, he didn't have to be deceptive about it. So because now Esau understood that not only his birthright was stolen, now he also lost the blessing, he got upset. He wanted to kill the brother. So for the mother to really protect Jacob and preserve them, she sent him to his uncle. What was the name of the uncle he went to? Uncle Laban, correct. He sent him to Laban's house, and Jacob fled to Rebekah's family. So on his way to Uncle Laban's house, right, he had an encounter. And that encounter he had with God. And that encounter actually came in a dream, and God gave him the dream. I underlined that verse because I think it's important for us to read this verse. Just give me 1 second. It's Genesis. If anybody has